All right, what's going on, everybody? Quancredible here with a review for Four Nights of Apocalypse, Chapter 30. In this chapter, finally, we're getting closer to the resolution of what's going on in the town of Kant, and we got to see some of Hauser, more interesting stuff about Sin. The stuff with Sin, I'm just I just wish Nakaba would hurry up and just tell us who Sin is, because I feel like I feel like every chapter Sin talks, or the more we find out about him, is just it just pulls my theories about him just all kinds of ways, and I just don't know how to feel about it. But at the very beginning of the chapter, we do have Nansen's, trying to take care of the baby dragon. It is too sick to actually ingest anything, so he's using like a breathable mist to kind of make it feel better. So Nansen's is doing his thing there, and then we have Sin come into the picture, basically calling Hauser a disgrace, saying like, "Oh, you call yourself Donnie's teacher and all of that," and basically just kind of really he's obviously trying to goad Hauser into feeling bad to making him do something, but Hauser is just shocked that there's a talking fox, which this has been established in the Seven Deadly Sins verse with Hawk, that the animals just don't talk. So the only talking animal he's seen was Hawk. He says, "I've seen a talking pig, but never a fox," and kind of revealed that Hauser is more so upset at himself for failing his students. That one went off to the circus, one went off to be a bandit, and all that kind of stuff. He feels more personally responsible for it, which makes sense considering the kind of character Hauser is. Like, Hauser doesn't typically resent people all like that. He definitely will more or less put the blame on himself just because he's that kind of guy. And this is when Sin really goes into how Donnie even got the piece of the eternal darkness, or piece of the coffin of the eternal darkness, that he was with Percival and that group, and they fought against Ironside to get it. And this kind of shocks Hauser to think that Donnie even stuck around to do this. And it's also weird because Hauser does note that, like, how does Sin even know who he is? And it's just one of those things where Sin says himself that he was on a mission, from the King of Leonis, which is like, Sin does have connections to the King of Leonis, which means it could be somebody that we know. But it's just so confusing because, like, on one end it just makes so much sense for me for Sin to be Lancelot. It really does. Like, the eyes, the how he gets upset at people for not doing what they should be doing, like, which is a definitive trait of Lancelot. But then it just doesn't make sense at the same time for it to be Lancelot, because he was able to destroy all those chaos demons back in Sestania, and I don't know if Lancelot would just be that powerful already. So it's just like, it makes sense for it to be Lancelot, but then that one thing makes it kind of weird, because they were saying that the only person capable of doing something like that would be on the level of the Seven Deadly Sins, which, again, like I said, Lancelot shouldn't be anywhere near that. But
Chill.
yeah, I don't want to turn this into a Sin rant, but it just seems like he really could be that. And basically, after all that, Hauser does ask. He asked Nansen's his name, and then he asked Nansen's to take the alcohol out of his body, seeing that this is definitely within the realm of Nansen's abilities. But then after all that, we flash back to outside, or I guess, like, intermittently through the chapter, we're seeing bits of the fight outside, but we do get to see more of it outside, is what I'm getting into now. And it's Percival using more of his hope ability, or whatever the ability is connected to his cloak. I remember I was talking about that in my last review. Like, I wondered if it's something that Percival can just do on his own, and it does look like it. It's just Percival, I don't know if he really knows, like, what's going on. I think he just is using powers, but not really understanding how it all goes together, which, it makes sense. We do see that Percival does try to match the dragon with, like, this giant, like, slap attack. The same one he used against Talisker, the same one that he tried to use against Ironside, does get swatted away. The dragon's just way too powerful for him. And throughout Percival's fight with the dragon is kind of like I was saying in my last review, that I didn't want Percival to be the one to beat this dragon, and I didn't really want Percival to do that well against the dragon, just because, like, I didn't feel like Percival was ready for this kind of thing. So I did kind of like the fact that Percival was trying, but he wasn't necessarily winning or anything along those lines. And I really did like this moment we got from Percival, where he, like, starts to do, like, a bunch of punches, and he sends out his little TV Percivals, and they're all, like, beating up the dragon. But he isn't. The dragon doesn't even acknowledge this at all. He's just like, whatever. And it was just a funny moment, because Percival was like, wow, this really isn't even doing anything. But after that, when I was reading the chapter, my initial read through, I thought right after this, when Percival got, like, when he got, like, impaled by the dragon claw, I thought he had really got hit. I was like, oh my gosh. But it turned out to be an illusion by Edelyn. So it's nice to see that he was getting involved in this. I kind of wanted Annie to be involved, but just by the nature of the fight, it's a giant dragon. She doesn't really have any crazy magical abilities that would help her fight that dragon, so I guess it makes sense face that she really wasn't able to do anything here. But as they're running away, Donnie's like, you know, do you have any chance of beating it? Percival's like, nope. And this is when Hauser appears on the scene, which is something I've been waiting for. Cause I mean, if Percival was unable to defeat the dragon, then the only like logical thing next that could happen would be Hauser would have to beat it since he is there. So Hauser, you know, with his tornado and wind abilities, are able to summon back his lance. I kind of wanted to see Hauser beat it barehanded, like that would have just been like an ultimate flex to me. But I mean, the fact that he uses lance isn't that bad. But even Edelyn thinks that Hauser should, you know, like back up. It's like too dangerous, and Percival and like Annie are in disbelief that he's going to be able to do anything. And then the dragon does blow fire at Hauser, but he uses, you know, the one move, he uses all the Time is Rising tornado to block it, and then he uses this other move that I feel like I haven't seen like I don't remember this move at all. Like his whirl shock, because Hauser always makes tornadoes. I've never seen him really make a razor with his wind, and uses that to basically knock the dragon down. Like this was like low diff for Hauser, which I don't think the dragon's like defeated. I think it's just like knocked down. I don't think Hauser is trying to like end it. Like I don't think Hauser's trying to really like destroy this dragon, just because at the end of the day the dragon is only upset because it doesn't know where its baby is, or it in its mind the egg was broken, so it's just kind of on a rampage about that. So I don't think Hauser's necessarily a bad enough guy to just want to end it, because it's not really the dragon's fault why it is upset. And you know, Annie and Percival are blown away because they did not know Hauser was this strong. And this, I like this because it really puts a gap. This puts like a definitive gap of where the captain of the Holy Knights is and where Percival is, because Percival was literally able to do absolutely nothing to this dragon, whereas Hauser was able to like low diff it. So it really, I like it. I like this a lot because we get a perspective for where Percival is. And honestly, seems like Percival would just be like a really strong Holy Knight apprentice, like probably stronger than where like Gila and Jericho was, but definitely not on the upper ranks of where the Holy Knights can make up, or where the Holy Knights would be at. I did make a video about how strong is Percival, and I believe like this showing kind of does confirm about where I had how strong he was. So you should check that out if you haven't. But aside from that, that is the chapter all wrapped up there. I enjoy this chapter a lot just because we got to see Hauser finally do something. This puts the plot along a lot, so next chapter will probably get more of a conclusion and the wrap up of all these kind of things, such as like the baby will probably be feeling better. Hauser will more than likely accompany them on the way back to Leonis. It just makes the most sense. I feel like Edelyn will probably go his own separate way. I don't think he's gonna accompany them back. I don't know. It just that kind of feels like something is gonna happen. I don't think Edelyn's going back to Leonis with them. He's probably gonna do his own thing. But that's kind of what I feel is gonna happen next in the chapter. Honestly, all in the chapters, I enjoyed it. It's like a 7. Like it wasn't like super crazy hype. I mean, it was kind of predictable in terms of where things were gonna go. Like nothing super crazy happened or no crazy reveals happened. It's just the stuff with Sin is always just really interesting because I just really want to know who he is. It's just bothering me so much. But aside from that, let me know how you guys felt about the chapter down below. Make sure you guys leave comments and just how you guys felt about it. I'm very curious to know that, as I always am. Make sure you like the video as well. Subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate all of the support you guys always bring to me. Aside from that, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all in my next video.